gotta trust the process, player. The process. The process. Welcome to the process, player. I say you gotta trust the cue the interview. I got some shit to say. How persistence about this business really got me here today. Kicking game, this a podcast, but this here a different lane. Hit you with some hidden gems, but then it's meant to entertain.
Welcome to the process where I'm your host, Cue the interview. I have an amazing young man on my show today. I've been watching him grow, develop, him and his wife taking on the world. So it's only right for me to have him on my show today. Douglas Johnson, it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me, bro. I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, man. Hey, man, who is Douglas?
Who is Douglas? Douglas is a 30-year-old dreamer who just wants to take on the world. And,
Okay.
I have a lot of things I want to do. We're gonna talk about it.
We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. First of all, where did you start off? Where you from?
I'm originally from New York.
Okay.
Grew up in New York. Moved to Texas when I was about 16 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Living with my pops, and that was a huge experience for me. So growing up in New York, it challenged me to step outside of my comfort zone a lot. Because you meet so many different types of people, you meet so many different types of cultures. Coming to Texas, it showed me something totally different.
Right.
So that definitely opened up. I think that was one of the first big things that just opened my mind up. It's okay. The world is a lot bigger. There's a lot more different things. And coming to Texas, really, that's one of the first things. That's like, man, that was one of my first times seeing like houses.
Oh, for real?
I was like, man, people got houses, like
and yards,
and yards,
right?
And that opened me up a ton. But I'm originally from New York. Texas, came to Texas when I was about in high school. Did my 3 years in high school here and ended up in PV.
Okay.
Yeah.
The best school?
The best school. I love PV.
Okay.
I don't regret it one bit.
Okay, so now, as you know, my show is about entrepreneurship. So
sure.
that's why I have you on my show,
For sure.
Like I say, I saw you at that club one time.
I did have a club. Yeah. Debonair Lounge. Yeah.
So ever since then, I was like, man, you just been doing all type of things.
Yeah.
And to know you 30 years old, it's like, well, dang, I'm like, look at my life, okay? So, but not trying to compare, but this thing about like trying to think outside the box. So, what have you ever worked for someone before?
I have.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And how was that experience?
I hated it.
I know.
My last time working for somebody was probably like 2015 or so.
Mm-hmm.
When I still had a bunch of entrepreneurial ventures going on, but I was using my 9 to 5 to pretty much just kind of keep stuff going, and so I can create more time for myself, basically.
Okay.
But yeah, I never really enjoyed it. I understood the power of networking very early, and I understood that I wasn't going to get the things that I dreamed about by staying in one place. So at an early age, I always thought about entrepreneurialism or the idea of entrepreneurialism, but I just never really, I never really figured out what it was going to be. I just knew it was going to be something, but I didn't know what it was going to be.
So, like you said, you had moved from New York to Houston with your dad. So was your dad a big influence on your decision making or how you move?
No, 100%. Moving in with my dad, that helped me a lot. It gave me a lot of structure.
Okay.
Something I didn't have as much. So it gave me a lot of structure for me to really sit down and understand what I wanted out of my life and not just being a knucklehead doing crazy stuff.
Right.
So definitely gave me some structure for me to understand, like, what do I want out of my life? How am I going to get what I want out of my life?
Right.
And, what's going to be my path to get there?
Okay. So, all right, tell me about your first entrepreneurship. Like you jumped out there.
My very first entrepreneurial, I think that would probably be in college.
Okay.
I had a film company.
Oh, in college?
Yeah.
Okay.
Me and my friend Jaron Smalls, Julius Burchett, we had a film company called Smalls Media, and we that's just how we started. We did film. We did a lot of the films for Prairie View.
Oh, you did?
We did a lot of films for like the PB Choice Awards that they used to do, stuff that they would put on the screens in the MSC. We did a lot of that.
Okay.
Because at the time there wasn't really a lot of opportunity for it because we were mass comm majors.
Okay.
And there really wasn't a lot of opportunity for mass comm majors. PV being at the time it was a very, still is a very nursing and
it is.
engineering forward school.
Right.
So they didn't really give a lot of attention to mass comm. So we kind of had to go create our own opportunities.
Come on.
They
put us in little small buildings by alumni.
Hilliard Hall, yeah.
I'm a mass communication major as well.
Yeah. So I love being a mass communication major, but one thing that we as mass communication majors realized, that's what me and Smalls and Julie is like, when we came banded together, we realized like there wasn't a lot of opportunities for us. When you go to the career fairs and stuff like that, there was nothing there for us. So it was like, shoot, what are we supposed to do? So we created something just to kind of give ourselves opportunities to give ourselves an internship.
Okay.
So because we needed internships to graduate.
Yeah, right.
And there wasn't no opportunities to get no internship.
Right.
So we created one. So that was kind of like our first step into like, okay, we're going to create what we got to do since they're not going to give it to us.
Cool.
Yeah.
Then you went from the film, make it to, what's your next one?
Legends Do Live.
Legends Do Live?
Legends Do Live.
What is that about?
So that's actually a nonprofit. We started a nonprofit, and that was in 2012, 11. So we've been doing that ever since. So we started a nonprofit in college. We were still in college. But pretty much the premise of the nonprofit, we wanted to find ways to highlight people that you should know about that you don't know about.
Oh.
And then so we can tell kids that look like us and tell kids that are trying to figure out what they want to do out of life. You can do other things. You don't have to just go play basketball or rap.
Right.
There's so many other things you can do. Look what this person's doing. Look what this person's doing. So we brought it to them.
Right.
So we can take the excuses out.
Right.
And we did fundraising, and we did all types of events. We had an event called Senior Fest where we do a big kind of like South by Southwest for high school seniors. We give away scholarships. We throw them a concert. We had panels. We had, for some of our panels, we had Kevin Hart's trainer, Boss. We had Jerron Smith. At the time, he was the deputy digital director for Obama.
Oh,
so every time like Obama tweeted, it was him. He came and was our keynote speaker. So we came and like brought these people so they could see like now he's the I think like the CMO for Steph Curry's company.
Oh, wow.
So it was cool. Like we were able to bring these people and show kids, and we went to different schools. We went to Yates. We did one. We went to Hightower. So we would go to these different schools and showing kids like you can do this.
Right.
And then giving them money at the same time to like here, this.
Right.
So that was something that we were passionate about. We were very passionate about just giving.
Okay.
So that's something that kind of aligns with all my companies. It's all about helping and giving and enriching and better people's lives.
Wow. This was in college?
This was in college, yeah.
Man, y'all was on. I mean, you a legend. Legends do live.
Legends do live.
Okay.
That was the whole premise. We wanted everybody to know that everybody's a legend in their own right. It just take that spark for you to figure out what is it going to be for you. It's different for everybody. My path is going to be different from your path.
Right.
But you still have something in your own right that's going to make you what you want to be.
Right. That's really loud because a lot of times I don't hear about my people doing something until like Black History Month.
For sure.
You know, but before, like past couple of years, you just hear about like, you know, Rosa Parks and Harriet Tubman.
The same, yeah.
Mother, you know what I'm saying? Like laid off Hidden Figures. I didn't even know about that. You know what I'm saying? And I just watched the Billie Holiday story.
Okay, I haven't had a chance to watch that yet. I saw that.
I didn't even know. I just knew she sung this song "Strange Fruit," but I didn't know how of an impact that song was, and what they were trying to get her for.
Yeah.
So you know, with you coming up with what you and your friends coming up with Legend Do Live, y'all really was ahead of y'all time.
For sure.
Okay, do y'all still have that, or y'all?
Oh yeah, no, we definitely still do that. Legend Do Live is what spawned Reading with a Rapper.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's after Legend Do Live?
After Legend Do Live, I had JR Media. That was my media management company. I had my own artists. I threw concerts. I did a lot of stuff in the music industry. I had a little music industry run in the past.
So how did you? So okay, all right. So you did the first entrepreneurship, and then you had the Legend Do Live. Then you came with the
JR Media.
So you kind of took these ideas, or more ideas to make this one? Like, yeah,
I was doing them all at the same time.
Oh man,
yeah, I was doing them all at the same time.
J.R. Media was in college too.
Okay. Like immediately after college. Yeah.
Wow.
Because I think I probably did one of my first concerts in like 2013. I think.
Who was your first concert?
One of the biggest concerts I did. Because I would do a lot of, my whole thing was with my JR Media. My whole thing was highlighting artists that I thought really had talent and bringing it to the people.
Okay.
So I would collect. I had a label pretty much. Okay. So I had artists, and I would build concerts around these artists for them. Because I was like, man, these are who y'all should be seeing. This is who y'all should be talking about. Right. So I would do I would do concerts for these artists, and then I would get other artists to perform like openers for them. Okay. So it brought a lot of attention to the artists, and it brought because they would bring their followings and their followings. So it was a way for me to just kind of build a network of people that loved music.
So how did you go? How did you go about finding these people? Like what is it, local artists or small artists or big artists? They were
all local artists. They were all artists out of Houston, where I was at the time, and I would just meet these people from doing different. I had a lot of friends in the music industry, and I did a lot of things myself. So just through my networks, I always understood the power of networking and how important that was.
Okay, break down networking. How what's the power in it?
The power in networking is, I think a lot of people try to rush it. They're like, oh, it needs to go. They want to network because they want everything to be fast. I always understood that you got to build relationships. Okay, and it might not necessarily be, oh yeah, come on, we're about to go do this, so we're going to start something next week. Right. It might take a week, a month, a year, who knows? But building those relationships and keeping up with them, and as everybody that you're building, as everybody grows, you'll start to see like, okay, this is what we could do this together. Oh, we could do this together. Because you gotta, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's not, because it's almost like you kind of have to have that. You gotta want a network. You gotta want a network. A lot of people don't really want a network. Sometimes you don't necessarily just want to talk to people, or trying to keep up with people and this and this. So social media really helps out a lot with that, because you can do that without necessarily having to communicate all the time. But I think just having that best practice, kind of keeping that best practice. Okay. And I think entrepreneurship helps you with that, because it becomes part of you to want to keep up with people and communicate and let people know what you're doing and stuff like that.
So so what is one of your biggest challenges in the JR Media that you had to overcome? Because you're fresh out of college. Yeah. You gotta get some money. And trying to find these artists, so it's money going out. Yeah. I don't know how much you had coming in or what you had going on. So what was one of the biggest challenges you faced in JR Media?
I think one of the biggest things I faced is just the music industry here in Houston alone. It was different at the time, and it's still kind of different, because it wasn't cohesive at all. There's no cohesivity to it, and you couldn't really get artists to mess with other artists. You couldn't get everybody want to do their own thing. Everybody want to be the best of this, but people don't realize working together you can get way farther than trying to do something on your own. And I don't think a lot of people understood that. So that was probably one of my biggest challenges, being that cheerleader. Like, no, like, y'all can work together. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, right. So after JR Media, what did you have?
After JR Media, I think that would probably lead me right into Griffin Locations. Or no, that would lead me to Reading with a Rapper, actually. Right. Yeah, Legends Do Live spawned Reading with a Rapper.
Reading with the Rappers, that's what's so amazing to me, man. It was so much going on. I saw seeing you with these artists. I was like, man, what is he doing? What's going on? These artists was in school reading with these kids. I'm like, hold on, man, what are you doing?
I always try to like blend, because I saw like it was like a timeline of all the stuff that I've done. I always try to blend all my passions into like everything that I'm doing. Right. So Reading with a Rapper, like we created a curriculum. It's an education ELA curriculum where we teach kids how to read and write through hip hop music.
How do you do that? Like, They writing rhymes.
Yeah. So like basically, it's an 8-week curriculum.
Okay.
And what they'll do is they study an artist. So say they're studying J. Cole's album. They'll study the entire album and they write essays and it meets all the teats and the maps that the school districts require.
Uh-huh.
So they might be studying sentence structure. They might be studying figurative language. They might be studying, like, we have whole different sections built out. So this was actually built by ELA teachers.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. It was built by ELA teachers. We recruited ELA teachers to help us with this.
And I know you didn't do it by yourself, so we want to make sure we shout those recordings out too.
Yeah, I started reading with a rapper with Jaron Smalls.
Oh, okay.
So we've done a lot of stuff.
Oh, y'all been rapping.
We've been running. Yeah, we've been running.
Okay.
So we started Jaron Smalls, Jordan, Gabby and Jeremy Gant. Jeremy Gant. They assisted us. They created the actual ELA program itself.
Okay.
And shoot, in our first year, we reached over 30,000 kids just in our first year.
Okay.
In a couple of different states. We did events in Louisiana, Atlanta, Texas, all in our first year. We got some. COVID slowed us down a little bit last year because we couldn't go into the schools, but we actually got some. We're about to make the jump back this month, so we got something huge coming in the next couple weeks.
I saw that y'all reached out to Mayor Turner.
Yeah, we did an event with all the city council members and the mayor. We did an event with them, and we actually put them through our program so that they can actually see what it was like. Because it's not the easiest, but it actually challenges you. But it creates that safe, because we changed the lighting in the room. Like, we make it. We wanted to make it more. You can't keep teaching kids with the same prehistoric teaching tactics that we've been using for years. You got to kind of bring it where they're at. Okay. So we allow them to use social media. We allow them to use music. We allow them they listen to the music through their headphones. It's a lot more fun and interactive. Okay. So as soon as they walk into our classroom, they like, "What we doing?" We about to do reading ELA. Like, what? You instantly got them. They locked in. Right. Like, oh man, it's dope. Yeah. But that's how we get it. Like, and we've gone to some of the most schools that they say are the most troubled kids.
I was about to ask that.
We do that on purpose because those are the kids that we really want to reach. Like, those are the kids that really need this, so that they can.
So have you ever seen the difference between having a most troubled kid school, a troubled school, to a privileged school? Mm-hmm. What was the difference? Or have y'all been into the high school district, or River Oaks?
No, we haven't gone there. We mostly stuck to places that we thought that students needed it the most. Right. So we last year we were in 9 schools in Aldine ISD. Okay. We did some schools in Fort Bend. Hey, we've been kind of all over. Okay. And we're getting ready to do a couple schools in Atlanta this year, actually. Okay.
In Atlanta?
In Atlanta, yeah.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm. Man, y'all did have Reading with a Blues singer. I want to join that curriculum. Let me listen to some Johnny Taylor.
Nah, for real. I like bringing it to all different types of genres, and I think it can get there. And we're even going to bring a Spanish version so that we can do it in Spanish in different languages and stuff. So now we can teach kids different languages and bring them different places. You know, kids go through a lot these days, especially now with COVID. I don't think people think about as much what kids are going through and how this impacts and affects them with COVID, not being able to see their friends, not being able to go to school, not being able to do a lot of things that normal kids do. Right. So we can't necessarily just be like, oh yeah, come on, y'all, it's time to go back to school. It's not going to be the same.
It'll be the same.
So we're trying to do something different so that kids can still have that same feeling and they can still get the education that they need.
Okay. Yeah. Not to dip too far into your business, but it's like you have this program. Is it a nonprofit?
Reading with a Rapper isn't.
Okay, so it's for. I mean, you make some money off of it, or
yeah, because we got teachers to pay and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Mm-hmm. So I ain't gonna even go into that because I wish I had the best.
Yeah, it's a curriculum. It's a curriculum, and any school or any school district can purchase it, and yeah, it's a curriculum.
Oh wow!
So we have to come with there's a lot of equipment that we got to bring in and all that kind of stuff. And
how did I even think of that?
Legends Do Live. So we're inside a lot, and during doing Legends Do Live, we were in schools a lot. So we saw what the problems were. We saw that kids were reading, kids in high school reading on 3rd and 4th grade levels. It's like, why is this so rampant? Like, and nobody's like saying nothing. Right.
Gotcha.
And we saw that like 85% of kids that enter the juvenile justice system are functionally illiterate. So it's like, we got all these kids going to jail, and it's because they're not able to read and how that affects them over time. Because if you cannot able to read, you're not able to do a lot of basic things, right? That can better yourself. Right. So it's like if we can find a way to curve that, meet them where they're at, we can cut that school to prison pipeline in half.
Oh, hey, man, I want to support that.
For sure.
Okay, after we're reading with a rapper, what was next?
Griffin Location.
Man, this right here is major.
Yeah.
Man, this Griffin Location, y'all have really. Let's talk about it.
For sure. Griffin Locations is a.
Where did the name come from?
Griffin Locations. Me and my wife thought of that for like 3-4 years ago. Griffin was my wife's maiden name.
Okay.
So when she decided to get into real estate, we were coming up with names. I'm like, because everybody on Instagram would use like the same generic, and I don't like being like nobody. Everything I do is original. Can't nobody ever say I didn't do any. I ain't did nothing like nobody. Right.
Gotcha.
So everybody used to be on Instagram and stuff with their names would just be like their name, realtor, or this realtor, or this realty. And I'm like, nah, we're not doing that. That's weak. We need to do something different.
Gotcha.
So I was like, we came up with Griffin Locations.
Okay. So this business is your wife's business, and you just tagged along?
Well, we started it together. Cool. Originally, how it was is it turned into she wanted to get into real estate. Okay. She was in the engineering back in the day, and she wanted to transition, so she got into real estate and as an agent. I had a background in marketing. My last job was I was a marketing director for a company, so. I had a background in marketing, so I was like, since you're going to get into this, let me do what I do for all these other people. Let me do it for you, and let's just stay on it and let's see what happens.
I do see y'all together. Y'all seem to be a power couple, man. Y'all together, you're always smiling, she's smiling, and just going about, how special is she to you and what you have going on with the business?
Oh, huge. Like I wouldn't accomplish many of the things that I've done without her. Like she's my other half. Like we think alike. And we be happy so much because it's happy to find that we found that balance of like, okay, we know what we want and we don't have a problem sacrificing to get it. Right. Yeah.
So you have that go-getter mentality.
Yeah, for sure.
That's good. So let's dig into this Griffin Location, man. What all service do y'all provide?
Well, we are a real estate brokerage.
Brokerage?
We're a real estate brokerage.
What does a brokerage mean?
A real estate brokerage is a company. Well, any real estate agent has to be housed under a real estate brokerage. So real estate brokerages are the companies that work the transactions of home buys and purchases over an agent.
Okay. Wow. I mean, at 30 years old, I'm thinking about being a real estate agent. You talking about you have a brokerage? Yeah. That's pretty major. So is there what areas do you work in? I mean,
anywhere. We all over Texas. We sell homes in Dallas, Austin, and Houston. Hopefully outside of Texas real soon.
Okay, like where?
Oh, I'd love to go to California. Of course, the surrounding states, Louisiana, Oklahoma.
So y'all trying to make Griffin Location like a franchise?
Oh, that could be in the cards for sure. Because we trying to create it to where we can pretty much drop it anywhere. Because we want to create as many opportunities as we can for people. Like we want our whole premise on creating Griffin Locations was we wanted to give the opportunity that real estate gave us as we dug deeper into it. Because she got into it on the agent side and I got into it on the investing side. Okay. So we just tag teamed it, and we found success doing it. And we were like, okay, how can we take what we learned and teach it to other people? Right. And we were doing it like through Instagram, and we did videos. And our big thing that what separates our brokerage and our agents and us as agents and stuff, what separates us from a lot of other people is our education. Like anybody that buys a house with us can damn near be an agent because afterwards they gonna know everything. And we make it a point for them to know everything so that they can fully understand what it is they're doing and how they can take that one home purchase and turn it into $1 million. So that our biggest thing is helping people build generational wealth. Like I'm not just trying to sell you a home. I want you to understand why you're buying this home and why it's so important for you to buy this home and how you can buy more and how you can do that so you can set up your kids and everything. Like that's a passion of ours.
Wow.
Yeah, we're not just gonna sell you a home and we out. Like we want to educate you and show you why this is so important and how to do it.
So you saying if a client wants a house and you know that's not a good deal, you would say, hey, this is not a good deal, or you will push it?
Nah, we're not gonna put nobody in nothing that don't make sense.
Okay.
And we're gonna educate you as to why it don't make sense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Man, that's that's really good. That really separate y'all from a lot of people. We already talked about that. What's next though? What's next?
Next is, I guess the biggest focus right now is growing the brokerage. We're hiring agents. We want to create and take all the things that we learned and teach younger agents, older agents, so that they can take the same thing and go do it for themselves. And then once as we grow the brokerage, we want to do so many things. It be making it hard because I'm like, I don't even know what I want to do next because we have a drive to just do more, be as great as we can, help as many people as we can, teach what we know as best we can.
So do you have rental property and investment property and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I do that. We do that ourselves, and we teach. I love teaching people how to do it for themselves, also.
Okay, yeah. So now that's a lot of money coming in and going out and coming in and going out. How do you pay yourself and make sure your household have enough money to function to live like you want to live?
Yeah. I mean, I separate everything from a business standpoint. I separate everything, and I pay myself as an employee.
Okay.
But you have to make sure that you doing things the right way. And I love teaching because people ask me all the time, like, how do you do this and growing a business? How do you do this growing a business? And I love giving that information because it's what people need to know. And I don't understand why people don't ever want to share information. People want to teach. People want to treat like stuff like it's a secret, and it's not. It's supposed to be. You're supposed to share it with people because if you're the only one that knows everything and you hoarding everything, it's like what you doing it for? Right. I'd rather take what I learned, give it to other people, and that's what helps me sleep well at night.
Cool. Okay, so here you go. What do you want the people to know about Douglas Johnson?
What I want you to know about Douglas Johnson is that I'm a giver. We're for the people. We want people to live their best lives. We want people to be them best selves. We're big on meditation and self-development. I want people to better themselves mentally. I want people to better themselves physically. That's the only way that you're going to be the best person that you want to be for your family and for who you want to be as a person. Okay.
So how can the people also contact if they want to purchase a house or want to get with you with reading with the rappers, or how can they find you?
You can reach us on all social Griffin locations on Instagram, Facebook, our website www.griffinlocations.com. Reading with a Rapper, Reading WA Rapper on Instagram, readingwarapper.com, legendsdolive.com. We everywhere. If you go to my page, Douglas JRJOH on Instagram, pretty much everything is on there. Okay. Everything is there.
All right. So I want to thank you for coming on my show today. I learned a lot. I mean, you have so much going on. I know you have a bright future ahead of you.
Thank you, bro.
I wish you the best, and I'm continuing to watch you and cheer for you and all that you do. Again, I want to say thank you for coming on my show.
Thank you, bro.
And I thank y'all for watching The Process. I'm your host. Cue the interview.
Thank you.
The process. Welcome to the process, player. I say you gotta trust her. Cue the interview. I got some shit to say. How persistence about this business really got me here today. Kicking game. It's a podcast, but this here a different lane. Hit you with some hidden gems, but then it's meant to